Hi everyone, this is Jenna from Wedding Help NI and we are on episode 60, can't believe it, and we are here with the lovely Lorrine Telfair from Telfair Tailoring. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, yes, I'm all good.
I'm so glad to see you.
Are you?
Yeah.
Glad it's with me?
Yeah, I am actually, although I had met him on the way out there and I was like, God, it's like royalty.
For deal? I have to work with that all the time. I call him my work husband. I'm like, I've had enough of you, honestly. So today we're just going to have a wee chat about what you're doing and stuff. So if you can take us right back to the very beginning on how you got into this and what it is that you're doing then.
I started a long time ago. My mummy died when I was very young, okay? I was only, 12 when my mummy died.
Yes.
And there's a wee photograph of me sitting outside our front door, hand sewn. So I can imagine that I must have been doing it even the way back then. I think I was taking in a skirt, but it was all hand sewn, so I didn't even have a sewing machine.
Right, okay.
So way back then, and I always remember, just always hand sewn jeans and things like that there, when you were a kid. And then I remember wanting to leave school and my daddy says to me, you don't work, you don't live here. Because, there was no money coming in. So I thought, okay, my friend's mummy, she was a manager in the stitching factories. When the stitching factories were big thing in Ireland. So she was a manager and she gave me and my friend Carol a job.
Right.
And I didn't think I was going to stick it, but I absolutely adored it. I loved it.
What was it that you loved about it?
So I loved the crack with the girls.
Yeah.
I loved the job. I loved learning how to sew. But in saying that now, you were taught a job. I was a bander. That's somebody who puts a collar on, which is one of the good jobs.
Right.
But that was my sort of job then. So we went from that, and then we got made redundant. Things were all changing in Northern Ireland. All the shirt factories, all the sews, go to cheap labour countries.
Yeah.
We were all left in the doldrums. There was nothing for us. And a job came up for a very, very big organisation in Northern Ireland. And I remember saying to my daddy, should I go for it? My daddy says, it's a pension job, go for it. And I was like, oh God, Dad, I don't know if I could do it. And he says, you'll be able to do it. Go for the interview, blah, blah, blah. Went for the interview, got the job.
Brilliant.
So then I worked as a tailor. And I was taught my craft.
Yeah.
Then. Sewing in the sewing factories is one thing, but being taught your craft is a different thing.
And sewing and tailoring are two completely different things. Would that be right?
Absolutely, because anybody can go on a sewing machine and do whatever they do. Put something together. If they're taught it. So like when I was in stitching factory, I was just taught. This is the job, and I was lucky enough that I was taught so many jobs that I could have went round and there would have been like a sample made for it too. So I'd have done the samples up when they do the big shops, like we'd have done for Marks and Spencer's, places like that there. So you learned how to, how mostly garment technology, pattern construction, pattern making. So all that was there. Then I went to college and done the degree and all that there. So
okay, very good.
Yeah, right. It was good to do it because it opened up a lot of things. I joined in a specification team, which was all our specifications for all of our clothing and so on. So,
am I right in saying that are you kind of more doing tailoring than what you would be for seamstress? Is that right?
Well, I think I'll always be a tailor.
Yes,
I love tailoring men's clothes.
Okay, yeah.
So, that's all I ever done was tailor men's clothes in the early days.
I was always men's
clothes. It was always men's clothes.
What was it mean to go into then the wedding industry and get into doing dresses for brides?
So I had my first shop in Ballycare in 2005. That was the day. I left work on the Friday and became self-employed on the Monday of April 2005, and I've never looked back.
Okay.
I ever had a day when I look back. I'm very, very lucky.
Did that not feel like such a big jump to you?
It was a scary jump because I had no safety net. I was walking away from a job that had a pension. I was walking away with a job that had so many, amazing things attached to it.
Yeah.
For me, for my life.
Did you find that quite difficult in this kind of experience?
That was hard. I remember in the middle of that doing a Women into Self-Employment. I'd done a course on that, and we had an awful lot of ladies coming in and talking, and things that you wouldn't have thought of. That it was just they'd have been saying wee things like, and you thought maybe did I start off too big? And maybe I shouldn't have, shouldn't had so many dresses at the front of the shop. Maybe I should have had less retail space.
There's been a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah. I think when you're self-employed, it's very hard to go back to being employed by somebody else, like, isn't it?
Because it's your own freedom and your own work can be around you and your life. And
it's pros and cons.
Yeah, of course, like anything. I know for me, now that I'm getting that wee bit more older, I'm excited to be self-employed so that I have more time for me, but also for my dad.
Yeah.
So I don't know where if that's maybe a reason as to why you maybe like self-employment or anything.
Especially when my wee daddy passed away there. And like, see, if I hadn't had him at home, my daddy lived with me for 10 years.
Yeah.
And he was just my wee honey, like he really was. And when daddy was dying, I had to be there. Like, I mean, I had to be there. But you were just juggling, and it was awful. But I got
that's
there.
A side though too as well. But some couples, brides and grooms, don't see is that you don't know what's going on outside of at work, but you just have to get down to the nitty-gritty and do it.
And that's where you have to be the professional.
Yeah.
You have to. It doesn't matter what's going on in our lives. My life is full. Well, our lives have been falling apart.
Yeah.
We have a wee niece who's very, very ill. She's got cancer,
and
she's the reason why I'm retiring at the end of 2026.
Yeah.
So she's only 25, bless her, and she's
so young.
It's terrible. Awful, terrible. Now, fingers crossed at the minute, she's doing good.
Good.
But she had cervical cancer. She's only 25, like I said, and she had cervical cancer, and now it's went into her lungs. But the immunotherapy has now shrunk it so well they have taken away half her lungs. So fingers crossed, everything's going well. But I know that my wee sister would need me.
Yeah.
And they live in Scotland. So.
And that's why it's so good for yourself. You would be self-employed because you can then work around that. Isn't that right?
So that's the way I did. I engineered the diary to work for me. So for this last 3 years, I've been going to Scotland and home, Scotland, and like my wee brides know, they've been amazing to me. If I've said like I have to go, blah blah blah, they're like absolutely no problem. But I make them aware of it at the start. I
was going to say communication is key, and it's good to keep up with it. I find that as well myself with the wedding content creation, because honestly I had an accident as well that my father is on with. As long as I communicated with them, they're so helpful, so understanding.
Absolutely.
So what is it exactly that you're retiring from as well?
So I returned from my beautiful brides. My seamstress, being a seamstress. I mean, I've done it 43 years. When I retire, I've done it 43 years.
Yeah.
And I think I still haven't bitten the sewing room. I know. Well, I'm trying to say it.
Can't help yourself.
I can't help myself. And I might go into just making, just bespoke. I might just go down that road, and come away from the operation, because it takes up so much of your time
as well.
It takes up so much of your life, because brides used to be like July only, really, and now it's just all year round. And you never stop.
Yeah.
You really don't. And thank God you never stop.
I know. We're thankful for it.
Yeah, really are.
Of course. So would you want to be going in now to doing more like helping with dressing?
Yeah. So I always done it alone with my brides, done it for years, but I would never have charged my wee brides in the early days, because I just loved them, and you were going to they're saying, oh God, Lorrine, nobody puts you into a dress like you, because I was doing it, every time they were in with you. So
it should mean you get me dressed the time. Have a good bra.
You could bra. Although I'd probably seen that, I'd have said that's not appropriate today.
I know.
But no, it is.
Tell me off.
I I did love it. I always did. But it's a big thing now. It really is, and it is like you're there hours before the wedding.
Yeah.
You're doing everything for them. Like it's my job to create calm.
Yeah.
It's my job to take. The wee bride has organised this forever. This is her big day.
Yeah.
So she doesn't need this chaotic.
And
it's what she can, that in the morning time.
And how do they get in contact with you as well? Do they contact you via social media or an email, or what's your packages?
Yeah, well, what they do is I have a wedding eve. I'm always on Facebook, and I'm always doing it with wedding help, helping it up and so on. And people have got to know you, especially through the wedding fairs. And because I've been a seamstress for so long, you know that, you know your name's out there and you know people know you.
Yeah.
And the crack's night.
Word of mouth.
It is word of mouth. And
Yeah.
an awful lot of your business is word of mouth, you know. So I do a wedding eve package, which is sometimes because the wedding day is already booked and the girls want the things stained. The only difference is I'll not be there in the morning, but when I go out on the wedding eve, I get everything ready for the girls so that they just have to step into their dresses.
And getting ready, that would be, you're just saying there, you would stain dresses.
Stain dress. To be honest with you, I think that it's really important as seamstresses doing it. I do personally. I know there's girls out there that do it that are not seamstresses, and they probably are amazing. But I've had really, I mean, one of the ones that we done recently was the father's suit didn't fit, you know, and it was
do that?
Yeah. So Marie goes out with her sewing machine.
Yeah.
I've always a sewing machine, and we domestic in the back of the car. Have to bring it because you
Yeah.
don't know what's around the corner.
You don't know.
So
Exactly.
his trousers should be taken in, his waistcoat would be taken in. Because his white shirt didn't fit, it was too small, and it had all the black buttons. All the black buttons had to be taken off, and some did one of his own white shirts because that was a suit that was rented. All men try on your suits. That's one tip.
There we are.
Please do that.
Pro
Try
tip.
on your suits.
Yeah.
But so they're the things that girls don't know is going to happen.
Yeah.
Another young girl, she rang me. I wasn't dressing her that morning, but she rang me to say I was her seamstress and said one of the girls had got oil down the front of their dress. It was like some kind of oil they were using in their hand. And she says, I just happened to have another bridesmaid's dress. So I run up to Laymore.
Yeah.
Took in the whole dress.
Very good.
So they're the wee things that make a difference.
Yeah. And so would you as well, because I know a few brides as well, and they're wearing that really lovely white dress, but they go for a couple of photos and they sometimes they got married in a forest.
Yeah.
And they're you know, things can get dirty and a bit murky and stuff, and then when you see it, it is a wee bit upsetting. Because that is your main character, is your lovely dress.
Yeah.
Like, can you fix things like that on the day if you were there on the day?
Well, if you were doing the whole day, to be honest with you, a photographer would take that out.
Yes,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? You know, I done one there recently, and God bless her, you want to see instead of her dress, but she was getting on a helicopter. She was getting into a helicopter and going down to the Slave Russell. So you was seen instead in the bottom of her dress.
It is expected, of course.
But you see those photographs, you wouldn't see them.
Yeah.
And plus you get into a wee second, it was a wee mini version of the wedding dress, and she got into that for her first time. So she had a ball. She had a great time.
Well, that's good. Is there different types of materials that work and some that don't work? Like whenever you're obviously tailoring dresses or even men's suits, is there some that you're like, this is going to take me a while because it's this type of material or...
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose when you're my age, you sort of like start getting to know an awful lot of the fabrics that is going to work and not. I mean, if you walked in with your bridesmaid's dress, I go, God, that's going to be a nightmare. In velvet. You know, I mean, I can't press velvet.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to flatten the tie and it's just going to look terrible. Yeah. So, but they're not hard to work with. Chiffon and organza can be a wee bit harder to work with, but it's only because...
They all sound like lovely words.
Oh, they're beautiful words, darling. And the appliques and so on. But, you know, when somebody rings you up and says, what price is something, like, how can you say that?
Yeah.
Because you don't know until you see their dress.
Yeah.
Not even only that, you don't know until you get inside the dress, pull it through, find out what's inside.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you ever look at materials and go, that would suit this person and this would suit this person? Because I know even for me, whenever I'm picking clothes, I know what type of clothes will suit me.
Yeah.
But you could try and say, would you actually suit more silk because it'll bring out your eyes? So would you ever give that advice to say, look, I think this type of dress would be better for you, or...
No, what I would do is if I was making...
Yeah.
So if I was making, we always go down to it's Crafts Home in Dunkirk first, where we would go there to do the, you know, checking out of the fabrics.
Yeah.
And it's all about what it's going to lay, you know, if it's going to lay well for her dress. So,
yeah.
I mean, and drape well for her dress and so on. So sometimes, yes, silk's gorgeous. Nightmare to work with, but absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Drapes over the body, beautiful.
Yeah.
A lovely bass cut silk dress is gorgeous.
Would it be one of your favourites materials, or what is your
No,
favourite material?
my favourite's a good Mikado.
What's a Mikado? What's
Oh,
that
it's
like?
a lovely fabric, nice wee
Like
stiff sort of
anything
fabric.
like that? Like thick would be
No,
thick? Or
No, it's thicker.
It's thick,
yeah,
right,
It's
okay.
a beautiful wedding fabric. It really is, yeah.
And I know we've touched bases on you and women's dresses, but you do help out with grooms as well sometimes, isn't that right?
yeah.
What would you entail with that then when it comes to grooms?
With the grooms now, what would happen is, like it's normally if they're all getting ready in the same location. So you find, although in saying that, I've run round to houses, you know, like I've left her and went round to them and got the shirts and all that.
Yep.
So men are easy, men are great, men are brilliant, because you get their shirts all lovely. I mean, and if they've rented a suit, it's come relatively gorgeous. It's pressed anyway, and the same with even if they've bought a suit, you know that the suit's going to be lovely. So just a wee light sting most of the time moving out there.
Yeah.
They'll have their shoes polished and all that there. So you're just making sure cufflinks are in, like flowers in the right place.
Yeah.
So you find that if you're in the same location, same hotel or whatever, you find that they'll run over, somebody will go over, get the shirts, bring them over to me, and I've already got all my stuff there. So I get it all done, and then I take it over and then we order it ready.
And how much can tailoring realistically change the look of a dress?
Mega.
Yeah.
I mean, like really. I mean, even a little lift of the shoulder just brings the boob into place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Something so minimal can make it
so even a wee quarter of an inch. I mean, it just lifts the boob that wee bit more.
more. That might help me. Yeah, that would feel like that.
You don't need one of that paper all the day.
And tell me then, do you have like different packages? Is it different times and stuff as well? Talk us through your packages you have.
Because I mean, like I'm still taking oil brides for September, October. No, not really September, October, November, December for my seamstress
This year?
This year. So I'm still taking on them. So they always at the minute girls will ring me. I just send through my a link to my diary. I just let them book in themselves.
Yep.
But I also say to them, I need you 3 months before the wedding.
Okay.
So 3 months before the wedding is the first appointment. Second one is 2. Third one is 3. Pickup is a fortnight before the wedding.
Okay.
And that's whenever he will say to you, Lorrine, could you dress me? Or Lorrine, I'd always give it a beautiful steam.
Yeah.
But the time the transport...
Is that extra on top of if you're doing your seamstress? I know obviously you're retiring at the end of this year, but would you be charging extra then for day dressing?
Oh, for day dress? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's a different service.
Completely
altogether,
different service.
Because what I have to do is, it's mainly a Saturday, so I have to clear my schedule.
Yeah.
I move girls around so that I can go and do that.
Yeah.
So yeah. But that's always, years ago when I was younger, I would have just nipped out, dressed them and walked away. It's not like that.
No.
I mean, you're just basically the wee furry running about doing all. Nobody knows you're there.
Tinkerbell.
The wee Tinkerbell fluttering about. And you're taking the flowers into the, over to the sink, drying them off, making sure they're not touching the girls' dresses. They end up with a stain. You're making sure that everything's sitting lovely for the photographers. Even though a photographer can come in and just do it themselves, you like to be there for them as well.
Yeah.
You want it all sitting pretty for them. But the steaming's most important, and knowing that I'm there is really helpful. You're putting everybody's shoes on, you're putting everybody's dress in, you're just
does help.
Putting the veil on if if there's nobody there to do that. You're making sure she's spread with her perfume. Everything is so important.
All the little details.
All the wee details.
And you've been on Wedding Help NI now as a supplier for a good while now, isn't that right? How have you found Wedding Help NI for yourself?
Well, I, honest to God, can say that my business has quadrupled.
Brilliant.
With Wedding Help.
Through it.
Oh my God, yeah.
And the best way to contact you, we briefly touched, you say, on Facebook, but again, they can find you on Wedding Help NI's website.
Yeah, and there's great reviews on there.
Yep.
Go on there, onto the website and go under, because I'm not, even though I'm still a seamstress, and I'd still be a seamstress at the awards, but I'm definitely not going to take it on next year. But I will be, and be on there so you can see me, but I'm under morning dressing service.
Yes, okay.
And I have my own website.
Brilliant.
So
you've got everything, and they just contact you through any of those as well. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's been
an absolute pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
You did too.
I did.
Good.
Thanks so much.
Thank you again. So yes, that was me, Jenna, Wedding Help, and thank you again.
Thank you so much, darling.